In the days of the frontier, wolves and buffalo were truly enemies with greatness. It's midwinter in the Canadian subarctic. This is Wood Buffalo National Park, a vast uninhabited plain 4 times the size of Yellowstone. No vehicles are allowed here. To film the wolves and buffalo, Jeff and Sue Turner had to track them on foot. They spent 2 years in the wilderness, stepping back 200 years into the past.
No one before had ever filmed the behavior of wild wolves hunting buffalo. But in the vast open spaces of this park, we knew we had a fighting chance. But like wolves the world over, these animals were extremely wary of humans, and it was a constant challenge to get close enough to film them. However, it was a unique opportunity to see such powerful predators in action, because this is the only place left on the planet where the wolf continues to survive by hunting the great North American buffalo.
Wolves are hunters first and foremost. Everything about them is designed to be a carnivore. Their simple stomachs cannot even digest the thick cellulose of plants, and their sharp, pointed teeth are specialized for catching and killing prey. The harshness of winter can actually help the wolves. This is the time when plant eaters grow hungry and weak. Here, winter is a predator too. But wolves would starve on winter kills alone. They must bring down their own food, and for that, they need the pack. This is the Delta Pack, a family of 14 wolves led by a dominant breeding pair. These wolves can surely be measured by the strength of their prey. Weighing some 130 pounds, they're the biggest, most powerful wolves in the world because they hunt buffalo, the largest animal on the continent. Millions of buffalo once grazed the Great Plains. The Europeans who settled North America all but wiped them out. But buffalo have been protected here in northern Canada since 1893, and this is the only herd in the world that has always been wild. Today, the buffalo in the park number about 3,000. They are huge beasts. Bulls can weigh more than a ton. Even calves from last spring now weigh more than 1,000 pounds. Their massive necks and shoulders support heads armed with sharp, curved horns, usually more than enough protection from wolves. Buffalo also need their enormous heads and shoulders for plowing through the snow to reach the dry winter grass buried below. These are their tools for survival, the strengths on which their lives depend. For the 6 long winter months, the buffalo have to work hard to sustain their great bulk. Even now, in March, temperatures can drop to -50 every evening, and there won't be any fresh grass showing for another 2 months. To Jeff, Tracking the herd and the hunting wolves, it seemed the storms would never end.
The heavy snowfalls continued through the early spring. It made it very hard for us getting around on foot to film, but it was even harder for the buffalo because their feeding grounds were being buried deeper and deeper under a carpet of snow. With thick, hairy coats, buffalo can deal with the coldest of temperatures without losing much energy. It's the depth of the snow that affects them most of all. Moving around in the snow is hard work, so when you're not feeding, it's best to just stand around and save your energy for when you'll really need it. Although wolves are better built for moving about in the snow, it's still very dangerous for them to try and kill a one-ton animal, even with the advantages of winter. All the buffalo have to do is face the wolves. Their front ends are heavily armored with powerful muscles and hides a centimeter thick, and their horns are sharp and deadly. If the wolves are to stand a chance, they will have to get this herd running. The wolves' only weapons are their teeth, and to use them, they must be able to attack from behind. Even so, a well-placed kick could break a wolf's skull. Some of these battles go on for days. In this instance, I watched for 2 days as the wolves tried to catch one of these buffalo. In the end, they gave up. In fact, mostly it's the buffalo that prevail in these encounters. The wolves will have to wait for their next meal, whereas the buffalo can pick up their grazing right where they left off. The raven, hoping for scraps, will also have to look elsewhere.
During May, this vast frozen north finally begins to melt. Spring arrives and ushers in a new year's growth. And the most fertile place of all lies where two of Canada's largest rivers meet, the Peace and the Athabasca. This is a great inland delta, a lush green water world. Higher ground along creek edges provides a dry footing for aspen and willow trees, while beyond them, the huge low-lying meadows collect and hold the life-sustaining water. All across the delta, the sun and the water begin to work their magic. This yearly bloom of new sedge is the foundation for all returning life. For the buffalo, the new green food is a critical burst of nutrition. They've lost size and strength over the long winter, and they need both to survive. To reach the rich new grass at the center of the delta, the herds must often cross streams swollen with meltwater. But buffalo are strong swimmers, so even for the new calves, this is no problem. A female usually takes the lead, and the large bulls trail along at the back of the herd. Perhaps this is a rear guard, an added protection for the group. Every spring, the buffalo follow ancestral routes from their wintering areas to the grazing grounds in the heart of the delta. Here, they converge into a huge herd. They have been arriving since April, when they gave birth to the calves that will eventually keep these ancient traditions alive. Snow buntings fly in on their way to summer breeding grounds in the high Arctic. They will stop here and rest for a few days, feeding on fresh insects and last autumn's seeds. The snow geese are already here. As many as 500,000 return here every spring. The delta is an important stop along their traditional route to the tundra. But the birds can't stay for long. They must continue on north to keep their appointment with the brief Arctic summer. Jeff has followed the wolves here too, as they give birth to the newest members of their family.
Despite the lushness of spring, it is a difficult time of the year for the wolves. With newborn pups, the delta pack is tied to the den site and cannot wander too far away on hunting trips when the buffalo move off. The pack is returned to their familiar denning territory, which the dominant male frequently marks to warn off other wolf packs. As the spring progresses, the buffalo herds begin to merge into larger groups. There's protection in numbers, and watching these large herds, I got the impression that the massive presence of so many buffalo may appear just a bit daunting to the wolves. But wolves are not always threatening. On this occasion, the delta pack was returning to their pups in the den, and even after an unsuccessful night's prowl, they were not interested in hunting. The buffalo are not upset by the mere presence of wolves, because unless the wolves are hunting, the buffalo just ignore them and get on with their own business.
For wolves, the spring creates a brand new hunting opportunity. If you have to kill an animal as big as a buffalo for your living, it makes sense to pick the smallest ones. Even so, catching calves is not easy. Nothing about buffalo as prey is ever easy. The calves are born big and strong and can run soon after birth. They too seem to know about wolves right from the start.
These wolves and buffalo spend their whole lives together. And watching them these past 2 years, it struck me that the relationship has a depth and subtlety that we modern humans would find hard to even imagine sharing with another animal.
All forms of life in this undisturbed wilderness are connected in various ways. The diminutive red fox and the stately sandhill crane each play their part in the complex community of the Delta. As a wetland, the Delta provides a choice nesting and breeding area for more than 1 million waterfowl. Their variety is spectacular. There are ruddy ducks and horned grebes, shoveler ducks are busy courting, a goldeneye takes a spring bath. And wading in to feed on small fish and freshwater invertebrates is a greater yellowlegs. The Delta is not just for birds. Muskrats also love the water. They're connoisseurs of water plants and dine on horsetails and reed stems, sometimes stripping off the outer skin to chew on the pithy interior. Surrounded with this abundance of life, the Delta wolves are never that far away from a potential meal. But most of the time, they have their sights set on bigger game. Jeff senses that a hunt is on, and his camera is ready.
This time, the buffalo know the wolves are serious. They're looking for an injured or weak animal, anything that will make their job a little easier, a little less dangerous. The buffalo concentrate their defenses around their young, bunching up to enclose their calves in a protective wall of large adults. The wolves may chase a herd for many miles, waiting for a break in the formation where they might grab a calf. But more often than not, the wolves miss out on a meal. I noticed that after an attack, the buffalo often cross at least one creek, as if to put some water between themselves and the wolves. When they had left the wolves far enough behind, the buffalo seemed once more at ease. It was striking how quickly the buffalo returned to grazing. I didn't get the impression that they lived in constant fear of wolves.
Besides going hungry, the pack had a new problem. They were not the only wolves in the area.
These strangers had been drawn into the Delta Pack's territory by the presence of the buffalo here, and it didn't take them long to smell out the resident wolves. The Delta Pack's dominant female was returning to her pups hidden in the nearby scrub when she spotted the intruders. Engrossed in deciphering the scents of the resident wolves, the intruders weren't aware of the mother's presence. Alarmed that these strangers were so near her pups, the female voiced her distress. The intruders appeared uncomfortable at being discovered, a potentially dangerous situation. They could be killed by the others. Three members of the Delta Pack also responded to the alarm, but for some reason, they didn't seem to recognize their packmate. It was not until they got closer that they finally recognized each other. The dominant female asserted her rank over the other wolves by holding her tail high, as the others licked at her mouth in a submissive greeting gesture. These displays of wolf status are important. They strengthen the pack's unity, reaffirming each individual's place within the family. The intruding wolves quietly slipped away in response to that show of solidarity.
The wolf pack is basically a family group that acts as a unit. The key to its success is strong leadership. It's the skill of the dominant wolves in hunting that keeps the pack healthy and well and provides the training the pups need to someday make it on their own. It's midsummer now, and the wolf pups are a few months old. This year, the Delta pack has 7 pups, and now they're old enough to leave the den behind. For the next 3 months, the pack will gather at rendezvous sites. The pups will follow from place to place, but they're not yet ready to keep up on a hunt. A babysitter or 2 remains behind to keep an eye on them. The babysitter is usually a young wolf who's an apprentice in caring for pups. The pups and the babysitter help train each other for future roles in pack society. The babysitters are sensitive to any unusual sounds or smells on the wind. In the open meadows of the Delta, the pups are exposed and vulnerable to other predators, such as bears.
Although mainly vegetarian, once in a while bears have a hankering for red meat. It must be quite rare for a bear to catch a buffalo calf, but on 2 occasions I saw a bear sneak up close to a herd of buffalo and then in a rush try to catch one by surprise. This time, there were just too many watchful eyes, and when the buffalo realized it was only a bear that was after them, they didn't put up with that for long.
Buffalo cross the many waterways in the Delta at traditional sites. Trails from the meadows merge at these places and lead to deep channels the buffalo have worn across the creek. These places can be dangerous for the buffalo. Coming in and out of the water, they're often hampered by the soft mud, something Jeff has seen the wolves use to their advantage.
In the muddy ground at this crossing, I came upon 3 wolves from the Delta pack, which had just brought down a female buffalo. The wolves had begun to feed, even though the buffalo was still alive. This may seem cruel to us, but for the wolves, it's their only option. They're 1/10 the size of a buffalo, and unlike big cats, don't have claws to grip their prey. Even if they wanted to, the wolves would still find it impossible to kill the buffalo quickly. Her sharp horns are still dangerous, but as long as she is down, she is unable to use them. For the wolves, it makes the most sense just to eat. It is too easy for us humans, long since removed from hunting our own food, to pass harsh judgments over the way the wolf is forced by nature to kill. They have worked hard and risked their lives for this food. It will feed the pack for a week or more.
When wolves kill, nothing is wasted, and when they're finished, all that remains are a few large bones and the skull. These old skulls are often used by small rodents, like this vole, and provide a comfortable home, as well as an air raid shelter, safe from northern harriers with families to feed. The red fox vixen and her mate also raise their family on voles. Several times a day they travel through the meadows on hunting trips and return to feed their two growing cubs. Unlike the wolves, the fox is a lone hunter. The cubs have no need to learn social skills. Come autumn, they will be on their own, catching voles for themselves. It will be many months before the wolf pups will be effective hunters. In the meantime, the adults still have to bring food to them, which they carry in their own stomachs. By licking the adult's mouth, the pups stimulate the returning hunters to regurgitate. They give the pups a pretty clear signal when they're empty. Every wolf that returns to the rendezvous site is mobbed by the pups, and they pester each adult until they're sure they get every last morsel. Bits of buffalo scattered around the rendezvous site attract the fox. This should be an easy meal. Although this wolf pup is so full he can hardly run, he's still a bit defensive about his food. Wolves do occasionally kill foxes, but they don't make a habit of it. This one has little to worry about from an overstuffed pup. By sheer persistence, the fox finally manages to secure a meal. The weather is beginning to turn, signaling the end of the northern summer. Soon, the buffalo herds will be drifting back toward their wintering grounds across the Golden Plains. Autumn here is brief and brilliant. In a last burst of color, the days grow shorter and colder. The sky seems to bend nearer to the earth as everything closes down for the coming winter. The wolves sense the change. They have their own way to mark the passing of the year.
Autumn is a busy season, a reminder to all the animals that winter will soon be back and they had best be ready for it. And yet I think the wolves look forward to winter. Hunting has not been easy recently. They have been restricted to den sites and rendezvous areas with 7 hungry pups to feed, and the buffalo have been in peak condition and hard to catch.
Autumn is the end of the buffalo rut. Eating little, the bulls turn all their attention to the females in the last urge to mate. Meanwhile, the females have been putting on weight and growing new winter coats on the last of the summer grasses. But the bulls continue to battle over the few remaining cows in season. After weeks of continuous exertion with little time for eating, the bulls are often in poor shape to face the winter. Many will succumb, either to the elements or to the wolves.
Autumn is an exciting time for the pack. When the adults return to the pups, the pack is restless with anticipation. The pups are growing quickly and will soon be hunting with the pack. They cluster around one another, greeting, it appears, with real affection. Watching such displays, it seems to me that they constantly need to remind themselves of who they are, a wolf pack, a tightly knit family, reinforcing their intense social bonds. It's only by staying together that they are strong and powerful predators.
With the family reunion over, the pack headed off on a hunt. Jeff had been waiting months for this chance to film the wolves working together.
When the buffaloes started running, I noticed the wolves zeroing in on a single cow on the edge of the herd. Perhaps she stumbled slightly, or showed some signs of being less fit than the others. Whatever the reason, the wolves attacked her. Then with only their teeth, they desperately hung on, trying to slow her down as she attempted to follow the retreating herd. Although wounded, she managed to shake off the initial attack, but the rest of the herd had run off. Her instinct was to get back to them, but she couldn't hold off this many wolves, so she headed for the safety of a small lake. This gave the wolves an opportunity to grab her from behind where she couldn't reach them with her deadly horns. With nothing but their teeth, the wolves must hold on and try to wound such a large prey if they are to have any chance of subduing her. It will take all of the buffalo's energies to escape the wolves now, so her brain helps out by producing a chemical endorphin which blocks the feelings of pain that would otherwise hamper her efforts. The buffalo tried to find another route back to the herd. But the wolves had other ideas, although preventing her was a dangerous business. The wounds and the stress of the attack were beginning to weaken her. The wolves must now be patient. If they rush in, the buffalo might still kill them. The buffalo moved back down the shore to look for another way out of the water. As long as the buffalo could keep the wolves in front of her, there was little they could do. Their only chance was to attack her from behind, where they'd be safe from her sharp horns. The buffalo was still too strong for the wolves, but when she retreated to the water again, they had another opportunity to attack her flank. It seemed as though the wolves now sensed that the end was near. The buffalo had been seriously wounded, and she was tired from the effort of defending herself. The wolves, however, were also exhausted. Even now, a wrong move could be fatal. But the arrival of a third wolf now distracted her and tipped the balance in their favor. The wolves had to seize this opportunity. Together, as a pack, they must prevent her from getting up. But her struggle to survive isn't over yet. She still managed to rise in a last attempt to escape to deeper water. To get to this point, it took the wolves more than 2.5 hours. The dominant wolves were too tired to even eat. Watching these wolves kill the buffalo, although distressing, was one of the most powerful experiences I have ever had in the wild. The buffalo and the wolf have disappeared from most of their former range, and what was once a common occurrence in North America must now rank as one of the rarest events in the natural world.
In this remote corner of the planet, these epic battles of life and death continue, the product of an ancient relationship, with each animal shaping the other through their unbroken history of life together. These buffalo are the last herds in the world that have been continually tested by wolves, and they have survived. Because of this, they stand today as the most important herd of buffalo left on the planet. As for the wolves, they continue to go up against the greatness of the buffalo. These wolves are the largest in the world. Just as they have weeded the less fit individuals from the buffalo herds, so have the demands of killing such a big and dangerous prey honed the wolves to the peak of their form. Together, wolf and buffalo have grown strong. Here in Wood Buffalo National Park, through a long and continuous history, they have made each other the best of their kind.